So, I'm Will, I'm the baldbookgeek, and I want to talk to you about the His Dark Materials, Philip Pullman's second book in the entry of the Book of Dust, and the fourth novel overall in the His Dark Materials universe is coming out end of this year, The Secret Commonwealth, and I want to share my love for these books and talk about them. So, as a child, I discovered them by accident. Someone gave me a couple of copies and I ended up reading them. And as a child, you have witches, almond bears, demons, we'll get into that soon. And then as an adult, you reread them and you realise a lot of stuff you miss and don't see as a child. For example, anti-authoritarianism, questioning the church, questioning authority, questioning the world we live in. That is a spectacular read as an adult. I've seen Philip Pullman speak and he is fascinating. So where do we start? The books follow Lyra and her demon pen as they travel from her world to many others to save their friends, to stop the end of existence, and maybe change the world. They start in her world, which is Oxford. But it's not the Oxford we know. It has its own college, Jordan. People's souls are represented in the form of demons, and you learn later that everyone has a death that follows them out of sight. The demon as a child changes form, but as you get older, the demon sets into an animal. She is the child of Lord Asriel and Mrs. Coulter, and she doesn't know that though, not until the very end, although she does work out Asriel quite soon. These books pull you into this adventure and this journey, and with Philip Pullman revisiting the world in two very short little novellas, Once Upon a Time in the North and Lyra's Oxford, and then going into the Book of Dust, and with this coming to revisit these characters and this world in a very genuine, earnest sense feels amazing. These books paint a picture, paint these worlds beautifully. She loses something. She loses her innocence through this story, but she becomes someone else. The character Will, who starts in book 2, The Subtle Knife, he lives in the world we know. This is our Oxford, movie theatres, stuff like that. Then you have many other characters that join the fold, things that are hinted at. Philip Pullman always said that you should think of these as one book. Think of the trilogy as one big novel, and that's how I read them. I never read just one of them. I think they are spectacular. The funny thing is, a lot of Americans talk about these books or comment on videos, and they're like, oh wait, this scene at the end where she loses her innocence and feels something is a very different line in the American editions because of censorship. They tone down certain references. The American Northern Lights is called the Golden Compass. I really dislike that name. To me, it will always be Northern Lights. The alethiometer, the artifact, is never referred to as the Golden Compass. These books are adventure novels in the classic sense, but they're also fantasy. They're also many other things. She visits the world of the dead. She visits worlds with angels and other beings. She meets creatures that are from the imagination. You have Lyra on her journey and you get swept along. There was a film made over a decade ago now, I think, called The Golden Compass. It starred Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig, to name but two. The film was terrible. And what's really funny about the film is in the theatrical film, they cut the ending. The film ended on a very different note to the book. And lots of spoilers. They were going to save the ending for the second film. It didn't happen because the film made no money and it was terrible. Lots of cuts, lots of edits. Although I will say, I'll give it its dues, I think the casting was very good. But other than that, this film was a disaster. Then we come into the other side of the His Dark Materials. the BBC adaptation, which looks amazing. James McAvoy playing Lord Asriel is brilliant casting, and it's like a who's who of brilliant British actors. I get the feeling they're combining the Northern Lights Subtle Knife into the first season because they've already cast Will. Although I don't know if they might flesh him out before. It's a whole big question and lots of secrets. When you pick up these books, don't think of them as simple children's literature. Think of them as something for everyone. Characters, worlds, plot devices, science, theology, religion. It's a fascinating thing. You can't put them down. They are books that have defined many childhoods, including mine, and as an adult I can read them on a different level. There was a stage play which I have seen, and it was beautiful. It was done over 2 parts, and just brilliantly done, and just great acting and the puppetry for the demons. And while we're here, I'm going to mention that within this world there are many things that we wouldn't recognise. Lyra's world feels like the past, maybe the 30s or the 40s, a world where the Industrial Revolution never happened, the fens of Norfolk were never drained. It's a very different world to ours, but the same in other ways. It also has one of the most unfair but brilliant endings. The ending of the His Dark Materials trilogy is beautiful, it's greatly written, but you always feel like it's unfair and sad because the characters never quite get what they want, but a lot is implied that will happen. So that's my video, my little talk on the His Dark Materials trilogy. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe as always, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.